Okay, so when I first saw how Riot were gutting Zeri back then, a couple of weeks at this point, I thought the champion would be dead. But the Zeri community just came out of nowhere and created this monster of a build, and to no surprise, the rank 1 Zeri player also uses this. I'm of course talking about Static Shiv Rush, and the rank 1 player, wildly successful with the champion and with a new build as well. It's kind of flexible in terms of what you follow up with. The true selling point here is the new... Oh god, are they fighting already? They are. Yeah, beautiful follow-up. Zeri with a lethal tempo. She can keep going. Can she ride it to victory here against Kai'Sa? I think Kai'Sa will escape. Yeah, she's too close to the tower. Yeah, but that was a beautiful all-in. I was not ready for that much action that quickly. But as you can see, the early power from Alacrity, from Taste of Blood, also from... What are you... Kai'Sa, what? Why are you doing this? Anyway, it looks like a beautiful start for the rank 1 Zeri player, punishing the enemy's mistakes with impunity. Hang on. Do they keep going? No, there's no way. They have to base here. But yeah, the new Zeri, so the old Zeri used to rely heavily, similar to Ezreal, heavily on Sheen and Sheen upgrade items. So Sheen would proc on Zeri's Q, both the Sheen would trigger and the bullets from Q actually applied the Sheen damage. This is now changed. Q is now fully treated as an auto attack, thus will not trigger Sheen, so this interaction is gone, and this was a big part of Zeri's damage, especially during the early game here. Nice trick with the wall for the faster return to lane. And okay, this, by the way, this is one of the more commonly known tricks, of course, for Zeri, but this is also why I advocate analyzing players who truly commit to the champion. So this player, this rank 1 Zeri, has the highest number of games on their account is with Zeri, and this is what they're only masters with like a 70% win rate or whatever. But goodness gracious, you can see the true power of Zeri scaling damage in longer fights, even that early. She has some items here, doesn't she? Yeah, she bought a Kirchheit's shard, already preparing for the, what is it called, Static Shiv again. So, as I was about to say, people like to complain that challenger players are technically higher ranked than rank 1 players, right? But these challenger players don't... I mean, there are rank 1 players who are also in challenger, but being rank 1 on a champion is worth much more if you want to learn a champion, because why is this game so mad? Oh god. I want to try and make... Okay, now I can finally make a point. Now they finally overdid it. Because these challenger players are challenger more like because of their macro. They don't know all the ins and outs of the individual champions, so also tend to play more champions than 1, or even more than 5 sometimes. I mean, some challenger players are really cracked. But they oftentimes just win through sheer macro knowledge. They don't use these little tricks and gimmicks of the champions, which are quite integral if you want to truly master a champion, or want to learn a champion fully if you want to fully commit to one. In any case, Zeri, she she lost the Sheen interaction, but the Static Shiv build also solved a lot of her problems. The new Static Shiv, it didn't exist before, but it's just beautiful for Zeri. So, one counter to Zeri, one thing the enemy can do to make her, I don't want to say useless, but to make her vastly worse, is fight in minion waves or in the jungle near camps, because you can essentially dodge all of Zeri's damage by placing a friendly unit between yourself and the Zeri player. So the minions would just body block the damage for you if you are facing a Zeri. So Zeri is... she needs to wave clear fast, and Static Shiv does this in a beautiful way. It leaves the minions a little bit of health, but with Zeri's Q pellets function, it's actually not a big problem to just clear them. And I mean, she lost the mythic item of Triforce, yes, but she can just make use of Infinity Edge, which is also about to get buffed, so she's in a good spot. With a Static Shiv and then a crit build, you can even go more ham. You can also add a Runaan's Hurricane if you really want to. But let's just focus on this game for now. I think something crazy is about to happen again. As we can see, Zeri has no problem wave clearing with her item advantage right now because she's on 5 kills already. Yeah, she capitalized off these early fights. So Zeri has amazing scaling. We all know this, right? And with scaling champions, you want to pick early game runes, as paradoxical as that may sound, because that allows you to reach your late game more reliably. So in Zeri's case, we have... Oh god, that was not good. But in Zeri's case, we have Legend Alacrity, for example, being a front-loaded rune, the most front-loaded legend rune you can have. But also, as we can see, Taste of Blood, which is a very heavy early game focused rune for more sustain. It's also very easy to trigger on Zeri because only one pellet of your Q needs to land. Also Triumph to some degree, but yeah, you just want to save this scale. And Zeri can do this quite nicely if she just stays at range. As we can see, due to the huge amounts of feed, she already has her Static Shiv. Let's see how she puts this to use. So Static Shiv, as we can see from the description of the item, but then, okay, we can see it, yeah, we can see it still in the tooltip, those little arrows there indicate scaling with level. And so in the early game, the item is not as good. It's better in the late game, which kind of fits Zeri's power curve, doesn't it? But it's still, the effect is so invaluable for Zeri. As you will see, she wave clears in seconds. Well, now she uses her AoE tool too, but yeah, she just autos the wave and it's just gone. It's absolutely crazy. And again, the big deal here, of course, wave clear is always nice, especially in solo queue, because if the enemy can't push, they can't end the game, ever. But for Zeri, it's a huge damage source because the enemy cannot hide behind minions as well. So Zeri is now in lane alone. Okay, never mind. I was about to say, this is quite untypical of high elo players to just give the enemy AD carry free tower platings, but there Kai'Sa returns. However, she's in a kind of tough spot. She has a serrated duck, and okay, she has a mana mune actually. She's not too weak. I wanted to get all the information that I think you need out there, so I didn't really pay too much attention to the game or to how every player in the game. Renekton also fed. Yeah, this is a tough one. Renekton 5 kills, Kai'Sa 3 kills. This Zeri is fed, but the rest of her team really isn't. So this is also a sign of a good player, that they're able to actually take their lead and win the game with it. Many solo queue players, they complain, they win lane, lose game, their teammates feeds, yada yada yada. Look at this dude. Or girl, I actually don't know, I haven't talked to them. But they just take matters into their own hands. Beautiful 1v2 there. Oh, well, pseudo 1v2, they did most of the work, let's be real. But yeah, the burst damage, absolutely crazy. Of course, upfront damage with a Static Shiv proc. Now, buying even more items, I want to see the face-off of the Zeri against this Renekton here. So, in a situation like this, the AD carry player is at an inherent disadvantage. Because, well, an enemy top laner with 5 kills, you can't really one-shot them. They're tanky, they have mobility, they have crowd control. The AD carry, one misstep, you're gone. And your shutdown is fed away, and you'll probably just, well, lose the game from there, because the enemy, who is already kind of ahead, it doesn't look like it, but it is really true. All the kills on Zeri, it's quite tough. But as you can see, nice follow-up from range, using range to her advantage. Jace is not really the problem, right? He's 0-3. But the more fed Zeri gets, the better, of course. Or the more gold she can funnel into her own team. It would be even better to give her teammates some gold, just so they can catch back up. But the wave clear is just amazing. And when you can wave clear on Zeri, you're having a good time. It is how it is. Or it is what it is. It's the core aspect of a champion. If you can prevent the enemy from hiding, then they can't do anything. You cannot kite them any day of the week. But yeah, she needs to run there. Numbers disadvantage. You never want to fight with numbers disadvantage. And this looks quite fishy. Zeri is not there yet. Pyke might go down. Yes, he does. Joining is also quite risky because low HP. Never mind. They just maul Kai'Sa. But yeah, she needs to back off here. She can't risk it. Again, this is their lose condition, right? This Zeri is tethering her team to life. If she dies, everything goes down the drain, right? So this is why she plays it super safe and on half HP. Only goes for the max range Qs. And, well, backs off, kites around, not taking any risks, because these risks will be quite costly. High risk, low reward, essentially. So I wonder why she isn't... Okay. I wondered why she wasn't basing, but she looks to help out the Katarina, which is, again, risky. She just needs to stay out of double dash range from Renekton, or flash engage range. Yeah, look at the range she stays in. Getting ready to outplay. Oh, that was lucky. That was actually lucky. I would have assumed... Yeah, that was super lucky. I would have assumed she would have saved her dash to get... or to dodge Thresh Hook on reaction, but Thresh just outright missed. That was a risk she shouldn't have taken, actually. That was a mistake, but it worked out fine for her, so... good job, I guess. But yeah, these are typically the risks you don't want to take in a position like this. If you want to win, then you cannot risk feeding your shutdown away to the enemy when it's already that close. But at this point, also teammates are getting some assist gold. They're all stabilizing a little bit. So this takes some weight off this Zeri player's shoulders. Let's see what they buy. They actually opt for Phantom Dancer, which is also quite the interesting option. So if they nerf Static Shiv in the future, you might be more inclined to get Runaan's Hurricane still, just so you can wave clear more efficiently. But as it is, kiting is also a big aspect of Zeri, because she needs to stick to her targets after casting ult, to stack her movement speed, to stack her lethal tempo and everything, so the stacks don't fall off. And Phantom Dancer gives the most movement speed out of all Zeal items, out of all AD carry items, really. Which is then a beautiful tool to stick to our targets and... Ooh, come on. Can she get it? Nah, Thresh is here. Yeah, it's way risky. Okay. This Zeri is just a goddess at dodging these Thresh hooks. Maybe she has just superhuman reflexes. I would have dashed there for sure, just to make it harder for the Thresh, but... Man, so I was contemplating whether it would be smart for Zeri to engage there or not, but they're all dogpiling on top of her, right? Yeah, she notices. Enemies are missing, enemies are coming. Look at how she walks behind this tower. This tower, in and of itself, is not a true safety net, because if someone sneaks here, she has no vision, right? If someone sneaks here, she's just instantly dead. If anyone's behind you, you can't kite anymore. You're trapped. So this is what this Zeri was avoiding there, very smartly. But now everyone's mid lane, everyone's rotating, and Zeri needs to find a way to actually take her lead. And never mind, she just 1v1s the Kai'Sa at the first possible opportunity. So it's kind of sad that her team gets destroyed there. But this also gave her the information no one is ganking her right now, so she immediately goes in and 1v1s Kai'Sa to kill her, with her huge amounts of burst damage coming from Static Shiv and from her overall item advantage, right? Kai'Sa, yeah, she picked a scaling item in Manamune. She needs more time. Kai'Sa needs... come on, really? Give that girl a break. She needs to base. Anyway, as long as her team is nearby, yeah, this is fine. At this point, though, I would prefer Zeri to give kills to her actual teammates, so the wealth is distributed a little bit more evenly. Makes it more consistent, more easy to win, actually, if you do it that way. But as it is, Zeri has all the kills, it seems, and now she has her Mythic Infinity Edge. Also about to get buffed. I've also seen Ivory Quick Blades on Zeri, but I think Infinity Edge is overall better because of how her kit works. But yeah, now lane phase is definitively over, so we enter a beautiful mid game with a fed AD carry. And, well, actually, blue team is at mid lane tower disadvantage. Makes it a little bit harder to navigate. So, yeah, we need to equalize in terms of mid lane towers very soon. As you can see, Zeri not falling for the bait here. Renekton would have closed the gap, sneaked behind her and killed her, most likely. So she backs off again. And yeah, look at the wave clear. When you have that much wave clear, it's also very hard for your teammates to steal the farm from you, which does matter, because as an AD carry, you need as much farm as you can humanly get. Until you're full build, that is. But in solo queue, people always greed for farm even if they don't really need it. Ooh, goodness gracious. She's dealing so much damage. The aggressive flash, just to keep chasing, just so the ultimate stacks don't fall off, and yeah, now the team's done for. She just kills them all. Yeah, that much damage. As soon as she starts sticking to you, especially with that Phantom Dancer, you're just not running away from her. The problem, though, is that she is so squishy, so you really need to have your kiting on point. You need to dance around the enemy's engaged spells, or you just need to be a god at dodging Thresh hooks. I don't know how she does this, but then you can even have impact when you are technically one-shot fodder. This is also what makes AD carries so frustrating to play for low elo players, because it is extremely punishing. As you can see, this Zeri has 1600 HP, level 11. Compare that to the level 11 Katarina, 1850. Still squishy, but not at... Bro. Bro. What are you doing? that didn't happen. Zeri took red buff and is looking to carry even harder now, because obviously red buff is an on-hit slow, so enemies even have less of a chance to avoid her damage. But yeah, right now they just need to wait for Katarina to respawn, because she somehow died. I don't really know what happened there. But just one more thing. Click the subscribe button. Do it right now. Okay, that's what I wanted to say. Anyway, back to the game. Zeri and her team now sieging mid lane, finally pressuring that mid lane tower. Oh. Attacking a tower as an AD carry is always risky. She wants to kill it before the Herald spawn, Herald charges to save HP. Didn't work though, but yeah, attacking a tower as AD carry is... She is positioning in such a risky... I would never dare to play like this, but it works. I guess because they saw the Renekton in the bot lane, so they knew he wouldn't be flanking them. So I guess that was the call. Still, it's so risky. You always need to keep that in mind. Attacking a tower is a huge commitment on your part. So it's better to just let your teammates lead the charge and then follow up. But I guess they want to be aggressive here. In any case, they get a shield bow now, which which makes me a little bit more comfortable watching this, because well, now they have a... I don't want to call it a get out of jail for free card, because you can still very much just die when they catch you out of position, even through the shield bow shield, but you are a little less punishable. It's there. It's a little bit of defense. And now with 4 items, of course, it's also a lot of offense still, a lot of attack damage and crit. Especially with Infinity Edge, that matters. So we'll see. She's already one-shotting people, kind of. Yeah, she can run them down, can't she? We see Renekton, so she doesn't need to be afraid of him. Yeah, so this is probably a main takeaway here from this Zeri player style. As long as you see where the other enemies are, Renekton was just taking this tower. As long as you see where the key threats are, which means you know they're not currently hunting you, you can do whatever you want, right? You can just press auto, or in this case, press Q. Run them down. Bully the enemies that are behind while avoiding those that are ahead. But I would really like to see how... I guess it's just the Zeri's macro. She just stays away from Renekton as much... Goodness. As much as possible. But, yeah, I would like to see this interaction of Renekton versus Zeri. But this Renekton is also not too interested in meeting the Zeri, it seems. The game's also slowly but surely slipping out of red team's hands. The Zeri's feed is just too much, it seems. 17 kills by now. Yeah, she's absolutely massive. Almost full build at 19 or 20 minutes into the game. Baron is not even spawning. It is now spawning. But yeah, before 20 minutes being at almost full build, that's ridiculous. Anyway, this also means Zeri will stop scaling very soon. Which is not too bad, because this also implies she's full build, which means she is extremely deadly. But her lead will grow smaller and smaller from there, because the enemy still catches back up, while she doesn't get stronger herself. This is nasty. Do I steal Baron here? Yeah, she has to bail. Good for her not to greed for this. The enemy team got a beautiful collapse there. Wait. No, red team stole it. For a second I was confused. I thought maybe blue team still got Baron, but yeah, that was slight misplay on blue team's part macro-wise, but good awareness from Zeri, or good self-control, not greeding. Oh, that was so greedy. Okay. Okay, I guess she fully trusted her shield bow, but no one can calculate the damage that quickly. This was pure luck. She went in there, maybe a little bit of tilt too, because her team's making such terrible calls, and she got frustrated of the enemies getting Baron. But that was a massive risk. This could have lost them the game, really. Feeding 1,000 gold away to the enemy who just got a Baron from them for free. With a Kai'Sa who is slowly but surely scaling up with her items, with her hybrid build. Yeah, a risk you don't want to take, really. And with Baron minions, actually, Zeri has a little bit of a problem, because, well, as long as they're not fighting in minion waves, it's fine. But as long as they're buffed up Baron minions, she can't really wave clear that fast. In any case, let's look at this mess of a team fight. Look at her positioning. What is she doing? Is she going in again, or is she playing it safe? Where's Renekton? She is just fighting Jace in melee range. Okay, placing herself next to a wall so she can dash out if she needs to. And she has had enough of this fight. Yeah, she walks around. She doesn't want to get killed here, of course. But, I mean, yeah, it's obviously better to just run away. The enemy was still all grouped and all alive, and blue team was scattered. So by having people here, and Zeri coming from here, they just all die. Zeri running away means Zeri doesn't die, and taking that risk would be truly stupid. I mean, you don't want to feed 1,000 gold away at this point. Never, but especially not at this point. So playing it safe, definitely the right call. But this is in the mid game. It looked like blue team had such a massive lead, but all of a sudden, the red team's superior coordination is just showing. It's just really it's there, and it just outclasses blue team in every aspect. But Zeri has 20 kills. Zeri is full build, truly full build at 23 minutes, with red potion. Can she do it? Well, she can solo kill Kai'Sa, which is a big deal. It's the enemy AD carry. It's a 5 versus 4 now in blue team's favor. Yeah, okay, that Kai'Sa was a big blunder. Kai'Sa might have lost her team the game there. Let's see. They could try to siege this, but we still have Jace split pushing. Gragas also not making... Yeah, Gragas has to recall and answer Jace, and they can siege. This is still fine. They still have numbers advantage. 2 are dead. And as long as Gragas stops the Jace, they get a free inhibitor mid lane. Right? Oh, Renekton behind them. Did Zeri see? Does it matter? Does it matter at this point? It's 4 people. Renekton also slowly but surely falling off because it's an early game champion. Oof, Zeri, please. Okay, okay. That was close. For a second I thought Renekton would just stun and one-shot her with his combo. But Renekton died too quickly to the full build Zeri. Level 15 at 24 minutes. Yeah, this is also, because she is so fed, getting so much experience, levels, gold, this is also why Cutdown is doing relatively little. Typically Cutdown is a good Zeri rune, because you are so squishy, and it deals a lot of damage in the mid and late game. But if you're fed like this... Did she sell boots? Yeah, she sold boots for Guardian Angel. Interesting choice. Because Zeri is all about kiting, but I guess Guardian Angel is too good an item compared to boots. You just spend more gold, you're stronger. You're not as mobile, but it should still be fine enough, right? If you one-shot anyone anyway. And this gives her a second life, should Renekton finally get her. But yeah, Cutdown typically does way more. Even 1,000 damage is nothing to scoff at. Compare that to some people's keystones. For example, this first strike did how much? How can I see? I'd need to... No, I wanna watch the game. I don't care. 1,000 damage is a lot, trust me. And it can be even more if you are in a game in which not every single kill is funneled onto you. But there we go. Nidalee goes down. Again, I got distracted by numbers instead of commenting on the actual game. Renekton trying to take the minion waves here so the team cannot finish. That's actually quite smart of him. If blue team doesn't have a wave, they can't really pressure base towers. But they're finally catching on, and Renekton didn't do it carefully enough, it seems. Yeah, he's dead. He's 100% dead. Kind of desperation attempt. The idea is good, but the execution was too careless. Blue team closed in way too easily. And now red team is again with numbers disadvantage. Might come back to bite them here. Okay, Zeri having a little bit of issues following up properly because she is so slow. She popped Ghost there, which sets off the fact that she doesn't have boots. But, yeah, it's a temporary solution with a summoner spell. Yeah, I'm not sure. Guardian Angel is so juicy, and you of course still want to keep buying items. If you are full build at 25 minutes, it feels kind of bad to not buy items anymore for the rest of the game. But I think boots on Zeri are just too important. In any case, Guardian Angel is not bad by any means, but Yeah, her movement is kind of sluggish at this point, especially without Ghost. She just needs to sit in the back and be this juggernaut who the enemy cannot break through, right? So for example, when they siege Baron now, the enemy would need to approach them, which means it doesn't matter as much that Zeri isn't as mobile, because she can just stand there and auto them with 1,000,000 damage, right? When you're in a chase situation, however, it's a different story, because there, movement speed matters a ton. In any case, Renekton mid lane, neither team is making too much progress right now. Ooh, that's a one-shot. That's a one-shot and a half. Literally. The damage is absurd. Well, we have numbers advantage right now, so... yeah, Baron is the obvious call. Alternatively, they could try and not risk the enemy stealing Baron again, instead just pushing top lane or bot lane for free inhibitors. But taking Baron is definitely fine here, and that's the call, obviously. The enemy is also not in position yet. This time they're really guarding this, so it doesn't happen again. They get Baron here, and now... again, Zeri taking ages to be there. Luckily her team has her back, or her team has the situation under control, rather. But now the game plan is very straightforward. Now you don't want to be mid lane, because you can't really... well, they could try to brute force end. Actually, they kind of can, but the cleaner solution would be to just push a side lane. They have no waves in the side lane, so this would take a lot of time, so they can try and greedily go for the end here. I'm not a fan of this. I'd like to play a textbook, but this is the call for this game and this team. Okay. I mean, blue team was grouped the entire time, so it was very hard for red team to break through. And they actually get to the finish with this one. Anyway, if you want to learn about optimal AD carry macro, click the link on your screen right there.